Welcome back to the Muster Point, the podcast where we have a laugh, remember our friends, and share some funny stories. I'm Stu Mendelson, former Royal Engineer and current posh coffee snob.
And I'm Steve Black, former 2nd Royal Tank Regiment, currently in charge of ensuring the tea and coffee pots are topped up at the Breakfast Club.
Today, we're learning what it's really like being a Challenger 2 gunner. Is it all explosions and adrenaline, or is it sweeping up and polishing the sights?
Do the Navy spend all their time looking for the golden rivet? And do the Air Force really spend all their time waiting for their butler to make their tea?
Make yourself a drink, or if your Air Force asks Jeeves for one, strap in. It's going to be educational today.
This is the Muster Point. Give us your stories, or I'll post a video of you with the ladyboys in Rasputins.
Right, let's have it. Welcome back. Hello, Steve.
Hello. You all right?
We've got a right blinder of a one today, a day in the life of, haven't we?
We have. We're. I think we're still recalibrating, aren't we, from the little shuffle up we had. So this is now us now
Test
back
and
on
adjust.
track. Yeah. Dan, test and adjust. Yeah.
What can we expect today?
Well, we've got our usual stuff. We've got what we've been up to, a bit of news. But the main topic is a day in the life. So, what's it like to, be the RAF Reg? What's it like to, be a tanky?
Yeah.
And not on tour, the mundane, boring life in, when you're stuck in Tidworth or wherever else you may be.
Yeah. We're going to try and implement, and we used to do competitions, didn't we? Or we went through a phase of that. We're going to try and bring that back today. We got, as you say, Armed Forces Veterans News, and I think later on, just a trigger warning that we're going to talk about some suicide awareness, just obviously because it was recently, well, what was it? It must have been a couple of weeks ago that serving soldier Alex, what was his surname? I can't remember his surname, which is bad of me, but obviously he went missing and then obviously was found dead. So we're going to have a bit around suicide awareness.
There was another bloke as well. I don't remember him, but my mate Fox Piss remembers one of the Irish Guards we was on tour with. He took his own life the other day.
Oh, right. So I was saying that. I did see that come up, yeah.
It happens a lot, far too much.
So we'll start off as usual. What we've been up to, what's been going on?
Well, I'm trying to think now. Right, so I went on holiday for a few days with my mum and my missus, my dog. Went to Kent, all the way down to Kent, hour and 10 minutes away.
What's that called? It's the Garden of England, right, Kent?
That's, something like that,
yeah. Whereabouts in Kent did you go?
Not far from Rochester. It was it's a haven caravan site called Kent Coast, and there's no coast. It's the Thames. It's the Thames estuary. It's mud.
Thames estuary,
we went down to the beach and it was mud.
Do you see any Royal Engineers down there? Because obviously that's where we're based. One RSME.
No, but on the campsite, it's a really nice caravan site as far as I go. There's an old fort called Fort Slough, and I've done a guided tour there. It's about £5, and it was really interesting. It was set up in the 1860s, and just how it transformed through the years up until the Second World War, where it was used as like an anti-aircraft position. But because it's mad, because in the First World War they had these massive 15-inch naval guns designed to stop the German ships coming down the Thames, but then they realised the Thames is so shallow that if they do stop a German ship, it's going to block the Thames. So they sort of thought, right, we better move all the guns out of here to like Sheerness, because we've got to stop the Germans before they get to the Thames.
Did you go to Digger World's down there? You get to drive a digger.
No, I didn't. I ain't drove a digger for years.
Yeah. I'd have thought you'd have been all over that.
Yeah.
Dragging the missus round.
No, I went to Rochester, because that's your old stomping ground, isn't it, around that way?
Well, Rochester was classed as a bit posh for us. We were Gillingham and Chatham. I think there was a club in Rochester. Can't think of the name of it.
It's a lovely place. We
were barred from going there.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'll tell you now, it's very lefty. Very left wing. Yeah. There was massive spray painted Corbyn for King.
Bloody hell.
There's a lot of stuff like that around there. Yeah,
That is extreme, isn't it?
A lot of left-wing propaganda. But
would you want him as king? Would you?
I don't really want him alive, but
fucking hell.
Nah,
be careful, mate, buddy. You get locked up for that. That's like inciting a hatred.
Where he is now, he's all right. He's not causing harm. But the fact that he nearly got in power a few years ago that worried me. And I think the current Prime Minister backed him then because he wanted to get rid of Trident, didn't he? So
yeah.
But yeah, where he is now, he's all right. He's not hurting no one. He's starting his own party now, so let him get on with that.
Let him get on with it. Yeah. What else was there? So, and this is a bit of an announcement. So the muster point has signed the Armed Forces Covenant. It's unofficial at the moment. Well, no, it's official. We have signed it, but we're on the 5th of August. We're having a PR signing with Kevin Bonavia, Claire Paris, and the Stevenage Mayor is coming down. So I haven't released it on Facebook yet, but is that? Do you reckon it's good that we've signed it?
Yeah. It ain't hurting us, is it? It's just like, it doesn't change anything what we do. We just get a little badge to put on our emails and website. But it's at the end of the day, it's not hurting us. It's just like, we said, so might as well do it. Everyone else seems to do it, but we will actually uphold what we say.
Well, have you read what I've committed us to?
No, I haven't actually. Nah.
I
probably have, but I'll probably
it's nothing to worry about. But I think it's nice and detailed.
Have we signed Chizard back up?
What do you mean signed him back up?
Is he joining the TA? Are we going to send him to Ukraine?
Oh yeah. He has to be. Yeah, that's
we're volunteering. Yeah, we'll tell him they can have him.
Not to look after runways though.
No, we can send him to the International Legion.
Okay.
And he can dig a trench or something and be on the front line.
Yeah. Nice. I think it's good. I mean, as you say, like it's not going to change anything we do. It's just an official commitment, bit of PR, and also we went to Stevenage. You've got Stevenage Old Town High Street, and they've got the businesses that along there. They're sort of part of a partnership, and Steve and I were invited to attend their summer social, but we were on just a campaigning, advertising, promotion of the muster point. We obviously spoke to some of the businesses, let them know what we're doing, asked them to sort of promote us and just signpost any veterans they come across. But also the plan is to get them to sign up to the Armed Forces Covenant and have like a big show of strength and support from the Stevenage business community.
I think a few of them are a bit like, ooh, when we suggested them sign up, there's a bit. But I think, I think once it's sunk in and they've probably Googled it and thought, actually, you know what? Well, what arm's it going to do? Just
at the end,
a bit of solidarity.
That's it. At the end of the day, it doesn't cost them anything, and they don't have to pledge the world. Like even if they just say, we support the Armed Forces community, that's it.
At the end of the day, most of them have got many employees, so they ain't got to worry about all join up with the reserves or anything. But it's what it is.
Yeah, so we'll see what comes of that. Tell everyone about the polo shirts.
Yeah, we've got a group of uniformed men now. We're a unit. Most people have got charcoal grey polo shirts with a muster point. So we're becoming a little bit proper. I remember reading about a man in the 1930s in Germany who had a group of men who wore brown shirts. So we got these old men in grey shirts. So if we've got any problems, we'll send them in and they
exactly. Get Arthur in.
Yeah, they're enforcers.
He'll take out your shins, won't he, Arthur?
Yeah.
But most of I did notice that there's not many sizes beneath a 2XL. But I guess that's the stage of life we're all in.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think most of them have got a Giacomo account.
And what's that? Clothes for the sizable gentleman.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few of our listeners can probably relate to that.
Yeah.
Go on.
You went up to Birmingham, didn't you?
Yeah, well, Sutton Coldfield. So it was the Armed Forces Veterans Breakfast Club. So they'd just started a new venue at the Hare and Hounds, Sutton Coldfield. Al Carnes was there. A few of the people. So I met for the first time Darren Wright, who I know we interviewed on the Beyond the Wire. So he founded Veterans into Logistics.
He brought one down, didn't he? He had a lorry down with him.
Yeah, but he takes those lorries anywhere, mate. Like, I did ask him. I asked him because you see on his social media, like he's been down to the House of Lords and all these MPs, and I think the MPs actually follow him round rather than the other way round.
Well, yeah, because it's a big thing. Seeing an Arctic lorry there, it's a good bit of publicity.
Fucking brilliant. But yeah, I met Al Carnes. I had my picture taken with him. I asked him some questions, so he's agreed. He's agreed to come on the Muster Point podcast. So we're tying it in with his team, and I think Parliament goes into recess for the summer soon, so it'll be after the summer. But look forward to that one. He gave a speech and had a Q&A session. Now I did ask if I could record it, and he said, if I record it, then it has to go through all the MOD communications team. And if I don't record it, then he can be open and more honest and he doesn't have to toe the party line. So the feeling, I was motivated by it. I think he means what he says. He's got passion. One of the big standout things was he said, people have to remember he's been a parliamentarian for a year. He was a Royal Marine Commando for 22 years. So he's more of a veteran than he is an MP. He spoke about valor. I think the biggest thing that came up was, so for example, we've been supporting that veteran in Watford and banging our heads against a brick wall because the local council are going, well, that's our decision. Valor, the regional rep, will have the power to go basically up to Al Carnes and the MOD, who can then sort of force the hand of the department that needs. That sounds promising. Don't get me wrong. How's it going to work? Because I'm fearful that the council will just go, whoever, like, who cares? Like, who has got the ultimate authority over them?
Ultimately, who's got priority? Like between veterans or a vulnerable elderly. He said, I don't know. It's not for us to decide, is it? It's for someone else to manage. But it's a step in the right direction. It sounds good.
Yeah. I think the other thing is...
What always concerns me, though, with all this is a veteran is someone who served one day. And I can see that. I can see a lot of people not abusing it, but I know a lot of people that didn't finish training, for no fault of their own, for medical reasons or whatever, but they are veterans and they're entitled to the same help as everyone else, which means that the numbers... I don't think the government know how many veterans there are. I really don't. I was talking to you a minute ago before we recorded.
2 million.
I was talking to you a little while ago. Like there was a national service veteran that I helped, and he didn't even know his army number because he did serve that long. And the national service records are very vague. So I don't know.
Yeah. But all I can say is the feeling I've got. There was. He means what he says, and obviously with any government, they don't know whether they're going to be in power for 4 years. The plan is that this £50 million over the next 3 years, the intention is it's an ongoing project. I believed in what he said. I believed in his passion, and that's him as the individual. Like what happens in and around that. Who knows? But
that's the trouble. He could have the best intentions, but it's the people with the money at the end of the day, the people around him. But
yeah. I think it. Well, it's talking of power and good things, because there was a lot of the other good thing that came out of that meeting was the likes of Darren Wright, Chad Maskell from Veterans Housing Group, and others. Derek, who founded the Veterans Breakfast Club. There was a lot of people in that room, a lot of veterans in that room with, like, there was a lot of power. As in, power is in like motivation to do good things. They're not
good intentions.
They're not part of the big machine that is like the RBL or whatever. It's like grassroots shit getting done. And I'd encourage anyone that's running an organisation with those motivations to get in touch and let's get together, because as veterans we forget the power we have, and when we get together and put our minds together for the same cause, we can get shit done.
Well, look at what happened. Was it last week? Westminster, you had all the Northern Ireland veterans a show of force, on foot and on motorbikes. It's impressive.
Yeah.
I'd like to think the MPs that are veterans and ones who are serving in the reserves, I'd like to think they'd be there as well, but probably weren't. But it involves them, especially the veterans minister. I'm pretty sure he went to Northern Ireland in his time. I know he went to Afghanistan, probably Iraq. You'd like to think he'd want a bit of backing as well, because you never know, the decisions he made might come out that might have been the best decision, but they were the decision, and the lawyers come after him. You don't know.
Yeah. And talking of veterans pulling together, I think it's fitting that I can now mention his name. So Duncan Underwood, who was a veteran we were supporting at the muster point, sadly passed away a couple of months ago. He had little family, and the muster point was able to bring together different branches of the British Legion, the Royal Artillery Association locally, because Duncan served in the Royal Artillery, and we came together and gave him a good send-off. There was a couple of standard bearers. He had the artillery coffin cover. And as I said to you earlier on, Steve, like, people said, "Oh, how did it go?" And I was like, "It was brilliant," which is quite, people think, "Oh, you can't say that about a funeral." But the fact that what could have happened, he would have been buried, cremated alone with no one there apart from the guy from the council. And that didn't happen because the veteran community came together.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's all about celebrating someone's life at the end of the day. I'm sure he had a eventful life when he served, and so why not celebrate that? From
what I know, he served in Northern Ireland in the late 70s, and we all know that was quite a chaotic, kinetic time to be in Northern Ireland, and we can only make up some of the demons he was facing. So, shout out to Duncan Underwood.
Yeah.
And the community that came round for him.
Yeah, fair play.
I would like to say one thing, and this is to the listeners. So the Muster Point podcast is getting a bit of traction now, but what Steve and I need you to do is to stop right now, comment on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, put a comment on this episode, do it now to help the algorithm. Otherwise me and Steve ain't continuing. So do it now, or we're not going any further. What do you reckon? Do you reckon they've done it? Well, I'll find out.
Think people should, just put anything. Just put a question mark. Just do anything.
Anything.
Just acknowledge us, like it, whatever.
Exactly.
It's mad how much that helps.
It does. The algorithm likes that.
Subscribe as well. That's another one, isn't it?
Yeah.
We sound like proper podcasters now.
I know,
and subscribe.
Exactly.
But it does. It helps a lot.
Anything else to add, Steve, or can I ask you this icebreaker question?
Go on then. Hit me.
Hit ya. So what is, in the theme of today's episode, what is the biggest difference you notice between a typical day in the forces and a typical day in Civvy Street?
Well, at work, civvies are never on time and moan about fucking stupid things. Funny, I was up nights all weekend, and it's a bit warmer than normal, but it ain't as hot as it has been. And oh my god, certain person who I said it's a certain person who I had a big row with a few months ago. I remember Chizzy was covering as my boss, and I was like, I've had enough of this. That same person was kicking off because she wanted more breaks than she's entitled to, which we always normally get anyway, but just a song and dance over nothing. And but now for me, being on time, I'm always very rarely late for anything. I'm always 5 minutes before. But I've noticed civvies, whether that's work or not. I know you met up with a couple of people in South Hertfordshire a little while ago, another veterans group, and there's a WhatsApp group, and you was going, where is everyone? And we're just in the bar over the road. And this is
that pissed you off more than it pissed me off, didn't it?
But like I say, they didn't serve, so they're doing great things for veterans, but they didn't serve, so that doesn't mean nothing to them. But it does mean a lot to people who served, I think. Whether you moan about it or not, most veterans are on time.
Yeah, I think we are. I don't know. Yeah,
I think just without doing anything, you're always planning ahead, aren't you? You're always thinking of traffic. You're always thinking, you know, what time of day it is. It's 3 o'clock. Right, schools are kicking out. If I go this way, but I am anyway. But
Yeah. Well, fair play to you, Steve. Good lad, didn't you?
yeah, I am. Yeah, I try to be.
Yeah, you are. You are. Go on.
Yeah. What about you?
I was thinking, like on an average day, and we'll probably come on to this, but in Civvy Street, like I think you do, on an average day you do a lot more work, or there's an expectation to do work because your average day serving,
Actual work, not looking busy. Actual.
Yeah. Like, but don't get me wrong. When like say you're saying that, like even Afghan for me was probably 90% pure boredom, but that 10% was the fucking like you're busy, you're switched on, and you have to be. But yeah, I guess that was the big.
And when I talk about work, like exactly what you just said. My first job, proper job after leaving the army, was on the railway, and it was very boring.
Yeah.
You don't do a lot of work, to be fair. It's like, you know, you see council workers, there's loads of them doing sod of. But anyway, then I work for where I work now, Coca-Cola, where it's big money, you know, and it's sometimes I'll go 6-7 hours without a break. That's not the company policy, but it's just the mentality is you've got to get that machine running, you know. But then other times I'd do anything for 12 hours. So you take the rough for the smooth.
Yeah, exactly.
But definitely the railway is very similar to the military, I found, where you spend more time looking busy. You put more effort into looking busy and looking like you've done a bit of work than actually doing the work. And yeah,
I get that. Yeah, but yeah, that's Well, send us comment on this bloody, whether you're watching it on YouTube or you're watching it on listening to it on Spotify. Stop, make a comment. What is the biggest difference you've noticed between working in the forces and working in Civvy Street? And it can be funny, it can be ridiculous, it can be, you can even swear if you want. But yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
Should we do a bit of news, should we?
Let's bang out the news then.
Go on then.
Well, the first thing I noticed, and the only reason I noticed this because the Tank Regiment, we used to have a general called General Leakey, David Leakey. He's a really nice guy. And his dad was a general, I think, as well. He was a bit of a rogue in the Second World War. He had a book called Leakey's Luck. I think he, like I say, he was a proper rogue, but he ended up as a general. But anyway, he was Black Rod at Parliament.
Oh, right, the guy that knocks on the door.
Yes, yeah. I don't know what else their job is, but yeah, a very ceremonial role. But anyway, the new Black Rod is a lieutenant. I'm American. Lieutenant. Saying that, I think the Navy say lieutenant, didn't they?
I thought it was.
Send us a
comment. Let us know. I think you could be right, Steve, but
I don't know if anyway, this bloke's a Marine. So Lieutenant General Ed Davis, former Royal Marine, is now the Black Rod.
Nice.
So I think before him it was a woman. I don't know what her history was, but
it sounds a bit like a porn star's name. I don't know.
The Black Rod.
Do you reckon that's a porn star's name, or do we need cheats to message us in with information?
Comment on our YouTube. So another thing, Donald Rose, he was believed to be Britain's oldest man, and he sadly died at the age of 110. And Donald served with the Queen's Royal Regiment. He was a sniper in North Africa, Italy, and the liberation of Europe. And he was there when they discovered Belsen.
Yeah. 110's a ripe old age, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Like, just imagine that. Like, all your mates will be dead. Possibly some of your kids will be dead. It'll be like that. Fucking hell. Fair play to him, though.
Yeah, pretty glad to go. But no, hopefully he had a good life. I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
The UK and Germany have just signed a treaty.
Yeah.
And it basically, I don't like part of it because it basically, if they're attacked, if one of us is attacked, you're attacking both of us. Bit, which I don't get because you've got NATO. But anyway, but it's more about technology, I think, and military defence production and sort of stuff like that.
Yeah, the only reason
people forget the UK is a massive powerhouse when it comes to military technology and that. We've got BAE. I can't think now, but you got like we've got MBDA, you got Airbus. We've got a lot of military or defence.
Well, that's the only reason I sort of know about this story is because the Prime Minister came to Stevenage this week and met with obviously, I think it was Airbus and RMP. Kevin Bonavia was there. I mean, it's one of them, innit? At the end of the day, it's going to bring money into the UK and all that, so it's good. Obviously, the ethical dilemma is what they create is going to take out human life, but if the human life you're taking out is the enemy, then so be it.
Yeah, and hopefully, you have a powerful military. It's a deterrent, isn't it? So
it is indeed.
But, I know another thing with the UK. Like I'm saying about the UK, our factories and stuff that make all this stuff. There was a lieutenant colonel in the Canadian Army, and I watched the presentation, and he said the Canadian military really respect the British because we build, although our stuff might be from Germany, other parts of it, we actually build it in the UK. He said, so yeah, the world looks up to us for that, if you like.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Nice. That's good to know. Hoo-ha.
There's that big leak.
Leaky.
The MOD have leaked a lot of details about Afghans who worked for the British forces during that period, and it was kept quiet for some reason. But I don't get it. This was the Tory government, from what I understand. It happened on their shift, and but it was kept quiet, and nothing's been said till now. So it's almost like
it's because there was a super injunction. So the court can give an injunction where you can't speak about what the injunction's about, but you can say there is an injunction about something, whereas a super injunction means that you can't even speak the fact that there is an injunction.
What annoys me is they leaked it. Like, so why can some things get leaked and other things can't? Not that I want it to. Everything should be transparent or in the in the interest of the people. But
well, I think their theory is that if the media had have broadcast the fact that this data's been leaked, then it could potentially, like, I don't know, so say you're a Taliban officer, then, this information's been leaked, let's go find it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I kind of get it. How do they, we've been to Afghanistan, they haven't got door numbers, how do they know where these people live? Like, I know we had compound maps, but I'm pretty sure that's not a standard thing to have a compound.
Well, this is the thing. I think it was obviously after the leak and that they had I think it was someone called Rimmer, which is a lovely name. He done a inquiry into it, and the result of the inquiry, basically he found that he does not believe that the information led to any sort of people being like hounded or killed. But again, as you say, like, I think it was even caveated to the best of their knowledge, because as you say, it's like, bloody Mohammed whatever living at 3 Helmand Province Lane, bloody whatever, he's safe and sound, because how do you track these people? Because they're nomadic by... Well, yeah, exactly. They're nomadic by nature, aren't they? Like transient. So
there's not, like, from my experience, to be fair, I didn't have that much to do with in Afghanistan, but in Iraq, I know it's a completely different country, different culture. They're all called Ali in Iraq, so. And I imagine Afghanistan's probably the same. There's probably a lot of Mohammeds and Abduls. Like, there's not that many names. They don't have kids called Levi. And
well, do you know what the most popular name in the world is?
Ali, isn't it? Oh no, Mohammed.
Mohammed, yeah. And do you know what the most popular surname is?
Mohammed?
No, Lee.
Is it the Asian?
Chinese, So Mohammed Lee is, if you're called that, well, there's a high chance you are called that.
Or if you're called Mohammed.
Yeah.
I went to school with a boy called Dervish Ali Dervish. And so his first name is his last name. And his sister her name was Neriman Dervish.
Oh, all right.
So, beautiful people.
Yeah, there you go. We love a name. Any funny names, send them in.
Yeah. My mate, I've mentioned him before, Stanley Honeybun. Love you, mate.
Love you, honey.
Yeah. Another thing, remember Bingo? We had him on, we've done a little interview with Bingo. He was in Ukraine. He's done all the private security stuff all around the world. He's back from Ukraine at last.
Okay.
I think
Bingo, how you doing?
Yeah, he's had enough for the time being, I think. I think he's fed up with it. But he's having a well-earned break, and he's gone on a holiday to Hampshire.
Fucking hell.
Because he said before when he come on, he goes, I'm going to have a nice holiday somewhere where there's white sand, cocktails, where he's got to Hampshire. So
Wait, was he in the tank regiment?
he was for a few years. Yeah,
What
he
is
got
it?
out.
What is it with you tankies? He's gone on holiday to Hampshire and you went on holiday to Kent.
I know. Yeah, yeah. No, I think he didn't like the politics, the side of the army and stuff like that. Yeah, he done them. He went to Kosovo, Iraq, and then got out and then got into the. I think he struggled because he was a tanky, and obviously their private security stuff is all SAS, Paras, Marines. So I think he struggled a bit to get a bit of a reputation. But as soon as you got
didn't he?
as soon as you got a job and people know you're a good lad, that's it then.
But you've got to keep that reputation, I guess, in an
Yeah.
arena like that, because if you say you had like a year off, it's like, well, you're starting from scratch again. It's like, what you've been doing for a year.
Definitely,
I've been on holiday in Hampshire, mate. Like
I say, I think a lot of it is done by infantry units, but I know a few of my mates do it or have done it. Not for everyone. I wouldn't want to do it, but yeah.
Listener sit rep.
Yeah.
Hopefully this should play if I click this now.
Hi boys, I hope everything's all okay. Steve asked me to do another history lesson, I guess I could call it, and this one's on Operation Masterdom. This is Britain's involvement in Vietnam in 1945 and 1946. This is where we came tantalisingly close to wiping out the Viet Cong before the Indochina War and the Vietnam War. But as is typical, politicians, they fuck it all up and they pull the British out early just as we're about to wipe out the Viet Cong, or the Viet Minh at that point. So obviously, Vietnam, there are 70,000 Japanese troops in country at that point. But as the war ends, there's a huge power vacuum. No one has any real control. So Ho Chi Minh tries to take his Viet Cong, or his Viet Minh, and they take Hanoi and then Saigon. So at this point, the country's a real shit show. There are Viet Cong fighting the Catholics. There are French fighting the Japanese, who are also fighting everyone else. So in September, the British turn up. It's a mixed force, about 1,700 men, of Indian, Gurkhas, Brits as well, obviously. And there's a Free French Commando attachment on that as well. So the Brits haven't got enough to take Saigon. So they enlist Japanese prisoners of war to help them fight. And at this point, about 5,000 Japs help. So after some real heavy fighting, the Viet Cong are driven out of the city, and there's a temporary truce. So after about a month, the truce is broken. A small Royal Engineers attachment is ambushed, and they're all killed by the Viet Cong. So after this, Douglas Gracie, who's the British commander, he goes on the offensive. He's quite an attacking guy, worked under Bill Slim, fighting the Japs in Burma. They'd been reinforced by a lot of British Indian troops, so they went on the offensive. And they fought in a place called the Triangle, which is above Saigon. Now, if you know Vietnam and the Vietnam War, there's a lot of fighting in this area over the next 20 so years. So the British in this time are fighting a jungle campaign, stuff they've learnt in Burma, and stuff that they'll go on to use in Malaya and other anti-communist operations in the 50s and 60s. There are 2 or 3 really key battles. One is at a hill fort where about 100 British soldiers hold off about 2,000 Viet Cong. They don't lose any soldiers at all, and the Viet Cong are absolutely decimated by doing banzai and frontal charges. And this type of warfare goes on for about 3 or 4 months. Normally all the battles are very one-sided against the Viet Cong. They're normally wiped out, lots are captured. This comes to the point where Ho Chi Minh has to head north, and the British want to pursue and effectively wipe them out. But this is a very unpopular campaign at home. There is a lot of Indians asking why are Indians fighting, doing the dirty work of the British. And the way the French are acting behind the lines is absolutely awful. There are burning villages, there are rapes, there are just general scenes of atrocities. So March 1946, after effectively wiping out the Viet Cong, are pulled out. If we would have spent a bit more time there, basically wiping out the last pockets, the Indochina War and the Vietnam War might not have happened. Now, obviously, this changes history, but obviously due to politics, due to money and internal bits all like that, it was a real lost opportunity. But all of the lessons learned would help us out in Malaya, in the 50s, and in Borneo and in other campaigns. Britain lost about 40 soldiers in this campaign. Now, obviously, a lot of these troops were thinking they'd be home in 1946 and not fighting in the jungles again as they have been in Burma. Now, at the start of the campaign, Douglas MacArthur, who was very anti-British, didn't want the British involved, so he held off their sort of entrance into the country. Now, that lost time cost us in the fact that we could have beaten the Viet Cong to Saigon, set up government, which means none of the fighting would have happened. But as again, big personalities and politics completely fucked up everything on the ground. I mean, at this point in Britain, there was a Labour government under Clement Attlee, and the left wing of his party were putting real pressure on him to pull these soldiers out. And as I said before, if they would have stayed a few more months, history would have been entirely different, and 30 years worth of bloodshed in that country might not have happened. Well, cheers, boys. I hope that's good. I tried my best. Obviously, talking's not my strong suit.
Bless him.
Cheers, fellas. Thanks.
He done all right, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He loved
the
it.
stuttering was coming out, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just soldiers and
But it sounds like
one-sided.
It sounds like this is. I think this is a thing where. So, for example, in Ukraine v Russia, obviously. The US haven't engaged in a full sort of troops on the ground thing against the Russians, which has led to where we are now, this ongoing sort of how many years on are we now conflict. And I still believe that if the Yanks had a fucking... the Yanks were and are capable of dealing with it. Like... And they've made the decision not to, which has led to this. And it reminds me of the situation with ISIS in Syria, like a good few years ago, where I think Barack Obama and whoever was, what was it, David Cameron or whoever at the time, like said, no, we're not going to go in because obviously the American and British public were unsupportive of conflict because obviously they were coming off the back of the height of Afghan and Iraq, and that decision led to ISIS sort of gaining momentum, and obviously it just exasperated the whole situation. So I don't think it's nothing new, and it doesn't surprise me.
It's just, like I say, Operation Masterdom. I've never heard of it. I didn't know Britain had any involvement in Vietnam. I don't think many people do know that, and it's just... I was looking for like a memorial because I thought there's bound to be something. 40 people died. It's not a massive number, but when I looked at similar conflicts, the Gulf War, the Fall Rebellion, the Suez Crisis, they were similar sort of numbers, and they've got memorials, and there's nothing. The only thing I was looking, because the majority of it was fought by Indian regiments and Gurkha regiments. I don't know, is that why? You know, I don't know, because they was... no, it's because it was India. The British think, well, they'll probably sort something out in India, but nothing was. There's no record of... I can't even find a record of the names, considering there was a lot of Royal Engineers died out there. I can't even find a record of the names. I know the Royal Engineers Museum would probably have records of it, but it's sad. And like the regiments I found that were involved were, it was the 20th Indian Brigade. They'd fought in Burma during the Second World War, so they fought in horrific conditions in jungles. You had the Gurkha Rifles, and then the Hyderabad Regiment, which is another Indian regiment, plus Royal Engineers, Royal Signals, and all the other support units that come with that.
Yeah.
And,
So
yeah, the Winnets. What is it? Call it the Winnets.
Winnets. Sorry, Winnets. Winnets. Sorry, yeah, Winnets. Klingons, attached arms.
Klingons, love it. Yeah. Well, that was good. Nice to hear from Bottle. I wonder if you could get him to do a video when he does it.
He did say about doing something through this Riverside we use.
Oh, right.
So I'll get him on. But
well, if he's got the time to join it, but otherwise he can just record himself and then we can put it in. Be good to see his little face.
Yeah. His cute little face.
Yeah. I'm just making some notes. What are we doing now? So, like we mentioned earlier on about bringing this competition back. So, what's this week's competition going to be? Oh, so it doesn't have to be this week's competition, but we're going to run it for whenever. But what we want you to do is find this episode on YouTube, the video version, so you can see me and Steve doing this. Hello. And comment with what? a funny story. You got any ideas, Steve?
I did have a couple of questions somewhere.
Go on then.
Well, something I was going to ask, I've had it written down for a while, is DIY furniture and home comforts. So when you was in the army,
yeah.
I'm thinking like the funniest thing that people used as furniture, like whether it was Hesco and pallet sofas or beer crate TV stands. What was the best bit of furniture made out of just bits and pieces? What was the funniest thing? Did someone make a bed on tour out of bits and pieces?
Yeah.
I know we had a mobile gym we used to take around with us in Afghanistan on the Vikings, and it was like made out of jerry cans, bits of metal, scrap this and bits and pieces, and it all sort of just hooked over the bar arm on the Vikings.
Yeah. So there you go, listeners. So find this episode on YouTube, the video version, so you can see Steve waving. Give everyone a wave. And comment, write in the comments your funniest, most ridiculous, weirdest, most novel piece of man-made or woman-made, furniture that you've used. Them-made furniture in the block, into comment, and we'll send you a Muster Point podcast mug, and you can enjoy it.
We should get some signed pictures of Bottle and send them out to people as well.
Yeah. I like that. That idea. So there's your competition. And as I said, it has to be. I'm only going to be checking the YouTube comments for the video. So them is the rules. And you've got the question. So, all right. Going into the main... Go on.
I've had a couple of other bits sent in that I'll quickly bang out. So, a bloke called Tomo, he's listened to us a lot, and he said we're always talking about housing and like social housing, getting your name on a register and that. And obviously... It's not ideal. You don't want to be relying on that, on the state and things like that. But he said he bought his house when he was in the army, and he used a scheme called FHTB, the Forces Help to Buy.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing this, but no, my money was my beer money. That was where my money was going. I didn't care about bricks and mortar. But he said it was. So I looked into it, and anyway, so the eligibility for it, you've got to be a regular service personnel with more than 6 months remaining in service. You can borrow up to 50% of your annual salary, and that's capped at 25 grand. It's an interest-free loan. It says repayment typically repaid over 10 years, but there's no limit, I don't think. And its purpose is to assist with the deposit and other costs associated with buying a home. So that's your solicitors' costs, your surveys, all that sort of stuff. And to apply, you've got to go through JPA. And the property type, the scheme is for buying a home to live in, not for buy-to-let properties. So you can't buy it just to rent out and earn a bit of money. But I wish I did that. I know a lot of Navy blokes do that, and we've spoke to charities run by sailors and ex-sailors, and they say a lot of soldiers, for some reason, live in married quarters, whereas the Navy don't. They all buy their properties. But the Army move around a lot more. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Like families move around a lot more. But it's definitely, I'll say, like my nephew's in the Army, my cousin's in the Army. I definitely recommend that to them.
I get it.
Yeah.
Happy days. But I mean, that's a good point. If you've got any experience of these, because I'm sure I remember different schemes when I was in. If you've got any experience of them or you want to highlight them, share the information.
Well, another thing, a bloke called Bazza, he said there's a thing called veteransjobboard.uk.
Yeah.
Another one. But
So
he said,
sorry, just to cut in. Interestingly, so that is. Go on.
Veterans into logistics.
Yeah. So that's Darren Wright's mate. Yeah.
Yeah. So they've got Asda, all the big supermarkets. They've got big names, and that don't mean nothing, but it's a bit more accredited, if you like. But they also do some training with LCAS. So I'd imagine veterans into logistics might help you use them.
Yeah.
But with the enhanced learning credits, I didn't know this. It changed in 2016. So before 2016, you got 10 years to use it after you got out.
Yeah.
And you can use it in 3 separate years. 3 year. You can use it in 3 separate instalments, one a year. If you joined sorry, if you left after April the 1st, 2016, you only get 5 years.
Mm.
So,
Do you know, I found that out Saturday because I was chatting to Darren, and this was one of the things he brought up with Al Khan's, how that's changed. And he, in fact, actually, he may have mentioned it on the interview, but he was dealing with a female veteran that had got had got pregnant and basically like left in that period, and then obviously by the time she's had the baby, she's settled down into a routine or whatever, then her our learning credits were expired, and it's like that's not on. Yeah. And also he made this thing. Darren was saying that like obviously they're very you can only use your learning credits on specific courses, which is ridiculous. Because I remember, because I had my engineering survey qualification was a level 5 qualification that I'd got within the forces. Like, I'm sure because I'd got that qualification, there was nothing in with LCAS that I could do because I was already sort of, I don't know. It just seems
you say
very
that,
restrictive.
I'll tell you, because my brother-in-law, Diggy Dog,
hello.
He him and my sister bought a house years ago, and it was a bit of a door-upper. It needed plastering, so he didn't use his learning credits because I think he got out before that even started. But he paid to do like a 1-week plastering course, so he could learn to plaster his own house. Yeah. And he said the bloke there did the enhanced learning credits, and he said, it's like you're like I don't want to be a plasterer, but if you buy a house that needs work done it, and you can go and do a 1-week course and learn to do it, or a short course, not to do that as a career, but just to learn another skill.
I think all the qualified plasterers are turning in their grave. Going, you can't fucking learn to plaster in a week.
But you could do your own house upload. You know, what I mean, like there's skills you can learn. Not to do it as a career, but just to help you out. You can do your Part P electrical stuff, so you can wire up a kitchen, whatever. You know, like there's shorter courses you can do, or even just to give you that bit of exposure. And thought, you know what, I wouldn't mind being a plasterer. I like the idea of a bad back, and then and go work. But so it's not just like say doing it for a career. It's just to learn another skill, just to use it up. I'd love it if people just used it. Because that money, where's it go otherwise? It just
goes stays in the pot, doesn't it?
Yeah. Because I looked into using it, and there was just nothing suitable for me really, or nothing in the area. It just seemed like a waste of money, really, waste of time.
Yeah. So But it was interesting that the 10 years has gone down to 5, but it is on our Cards' radar that the transition thing needs reevaluating and all that.
I don't know why you can't use that money, because I think it was 10 grand or something, wasn't it? I can't remember. Why can't you use that as part of your resettlement? Like, I don't get it.
So he did tell us about something new, and I think I've heard it vaguely, and maybe someone, maybe Jay Hall, if you're listening, or will reach out to you. So they have changed the career transition partnership thing. So apparently the transition partnership is now accessible to you 2 years before your end date and 2 years after. And there is an element that you should be engaging, or they should be engaging with you on that. So if anyone's got experience of that, it'd be good to hear. Because again, it sounded a bit more positive, but if it's not happening, then people need to know.
I think most people I know that have left recently have done their full service, and they don't even bother using their resettlement. It's just it's not worth it. The last thing I got is a bloke called Carl. He messaged in. He'd like me to give a shout out for his neighbour. Who doesn't really know. His name? He doesn't really know, but his neighbour wrote a book, and it's called The Little Men, An Afghan Diary, and that's by George McCafferty and Robert Cameron. And he believes his neighbour was a sergeant, and he did 2 tours of Afghanistan. And
so the guy's got his book, and he hasn't bothered to go around and talk to him about it.
No, he said he spoke to him before, but they're not close. Like, just hello neighbour. But he wanted me to give a shout out. So I googled the book. It looks a very professional, but it looks a proper book. It's a Scottish regiment. I'm not sure what one. Sort of funny at them. Tam O'Shanter, whatever it's called. But So
happy days. Well,
if you can read, if you can read, if you're in the REME and you know how to read, everyone else there might be pictures in.
Yeah, happy days. Right, frontline focus. Main point of today's show: day in the life of. How are we doing this, Steve? Because I was thinking, like, obviously, your day in the life of when you're in training regiment is different to when you get to your unit, which is different to when you're on tour. But what was a day that, and I'm guessing a day in the life in basic training was pretty much the same for everyone. So you were up, fucking doing your ablutions, making sure everything's clean, room inspection. Well, actually, so we had to down a litre of water in the corridor. We had to sing three verses of the national anthem, and then room inspection, scoff, and then it'd be like lessons, whatever they were on, or like some sort of just lessons, like whether that's in the classroom or practical, like in the field. And that weekends were a bit more quieter, as it were, and then obviously then you had different size exercises, whether it was like a week or a couple of days or whatever going on. Very structured in training, as you can imagine. Does that sound similar for you?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Like you say, Saturdays, they take us to the cinema. You know, I think most camps have a cinema on them, don't they? Not like a Odeon or City World, but we've got a room with a big screen, and we used to watch Full Metal Jacket because that was filmed in Bessingbourne, where I'd done my. Yeah. I'm saying that according to that US Marine, it wasn't filmed there, but I'm pretty sure it was. So or full Saving Private Ryan, that was the other one that hadn't been out that long. So yeah, it was one or the other we used to watch. And as it went on, it got a little bit more relaxed. They let you out for a few hours on a Saturday.
Yeah, that was it.
I used to go to either Cambridge or Stevenage, which I couldn't believe how wonderful Stevenage was at the time. Wow, what is this place?
There you go. Now you live there.
It's got a British Home Store.
I remember those days. CNA.
Yes, CNA.
HMV.
Yeah. Still got HMV. My mate loves,
still there, is it?
Yeah, my mate comes out, he's like, I can't believe you still got an HMV. Yeah,
fucking hell.
Crap.
Yeah. And then so like for me, because I done my trade training to be a engineering surveyor down in Chatham. So that was, again, it is a training regiment, but it's like being at college, I guess. So I think maybe we did get like a shit room inspection once a week just to make sure you haven't trashed it. But it was a case of like you'd get up, you'd parade, just again duty of care sort of stuff. What's going on? Like everyone here, happy days, any appointments? But then we'd go to the survey department, and it was like like being at college, as it were. And then you'd have your sports afternoons filtered into that, which was quite novel. Like it's not sort of what you think the armed forces does, but
something that I was not shocked about, but Veterans in Action, Billy, he was a bricklayer. But he said, like, he done it was 8 or 9 month bricklaying apprenticeship, and because I didn't have a clue, and then didn't touch a trowel for a few years, and because I said to him, why didn't you do that when you left? Because I didn't know what I was doing, and it's a shame. That,
Well, this is the thing that you think in the Royal Engineers. There's everything from a bricklayer to a surveyor to a design draftsman, which is someone that does the drawings. You've got the clerk of works, who are like your civil engineers, plasterers, every trade you can imagine, and yet still the MOD subcontracts out all like works on accommodation and that, and it's just that just doesn't make sense to me, because as you say, like, so I think we mentioned it before, like field troops, or boat troops, whatever, amphibious. So you think like these lads will go through their training, they'll do a quite intense bricklaying course, and then they'll go to a field troop, and they may not use it until they go on, I think Billy mentioned it, mapped up tasks and that, where it's like you go on exercise, but it's like a construction job. And then
is that like in Kenya and places like that? Yeah,
they can be in Kenya or the Falklands or Scotland or Wales, like anywhere, or down the road at like Ripon, or do you know what I mean? It can be anywhere. And then again, you go into that sort of construction sort of mode and that. But And certainly for me as a surveyor, so within squadrons or regiments, there'll be what's called a design cell, which is your surveyors, your CMTs, which I think we spoke about before, where your mud doctors, your design draftsmen, and your clerk of works. But obviously they're very small. I think at the time, somewhere in Nottingham, there was like an entire sort of regiment of design trades. So I rarely got to use it. And when I turned up in Afghan and we had a construction job at our favourite place, Shawkat, where we were putting in these biodiscs which turned the sort of dirty water into grey water, which could then be pumped out into the ground. Like I was literally doing my calculations and measurements on the backet of a fag packet, as cheesy as that sounds. It was just you make do. But yeah, it's such a waste of money and skills.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I know like a lot of the Remy lads. I think they like the vehicle mechanics. They go and do a year, 18 months at boredom where they do their very basic engineering stuff, mechanical engineering, or whatever trade they do, and then they go to the units. They get attached to a regiment or whatever they do, and they'll spend a couple of years there. And then they go and do another year somewhere, and they gradually get built up to a very highly trained technical guy.
What was it? Tiffy.
Yeah.
Artificer.
Do you have them in the Royal Engineers?
No, so that the equivalent would be these clerk of work. So
yeah, gotcha. Yeah, to the Tiffy. I think you can do it as a lance jack and you come back as a staff sergeant.
Yeah, that's the same as
it's like
clerk
a 4
of
year.
works.
Is it a 4 year course? And
yes.
Funny enough, my mate Paul, I worked with Paul the sailor. He was a Tiffy on a ship. We were trying to find out if anyone knows where that word comes from, an artificer, because I think that is a military word.
Well, it's an old engineering term, like an engineer sort of thing. Yeah, but
I wonder if it's from India or something like that. A lot of weird words come from India. I wonder if it's like
maybe.
God knows, but because I say that, like my experience in the Remy, a lot of them were very good at what they did.
Well, this is the thing, they got attached to. So I guarantee every regiment squadron had a Remy lads, and they were always working on a DAF, or particularly DAFs or Land Rovers. They were always working on them.
We had is it AMEC and BMEC? I think AMEC was tracked vehicles and BMEC was wheeled vehicles, and they were split up like that. But then you had the Remy battalions where they do the major works. But then every regiment had a light aid detachment, which still done big works. And then every squadron would have a fitter section, which was
that's it. Yeah.
12, 15 blokes. So they'd have, like, in a tank squadron, you'd have a Krav, which was the Challenger without a turret, but it's got the dozer blade on the front. It's got cranes and winches everywhere. It looks like something from Robot. It looks like what the Royal Engineers have. So, that sort of thing. And then you have like a cut of 432s, and they've got cranes and I say that it is like Transformers. They pull the cover off, and it's got cranes and winches and stuff.
And then like going on to like the day in the life of your unit. I don't know, I think we've alluded to it so many times. I mean, for me, being based at RAF Leeming, so that our squadron offices were round the other side of the runway. So it was probably a good 10-minute drive, maybe. Like, 'cause obviously there was you couldn't, well, some people did, but you're supposed to stick to like a 10-mile-an-hour speed limit. Yeah. So it'd be a case of get up, scoff, head round, parade for like, I don't know, was it 8 o'clock? Like, it definitely weren't like a rush or anything. And it'd be like blah, 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 like Mendelson, staff, like sort of roll call, as it were. And then if anything was going on, and then it literally, for us, with each troop had a G10, so the G10 stores was like all our engineer kit, like circular saws, drills and that. And we'd just like fucking doss around there, like maybe clean some kit, go back to your room. It was just, I don't know, like skiving to survive, wasn't it?
Yeah. What's funny is I spoke to me being a tanky, like my training was similar to yours, same sort. Obviously, I've done tanks, you've done it, but the basic training was the same. Got to be a regiment, and a lot of it was just looking busy. We'd go down to Tank Park, which was a 5-minute walk from the block. We prayed first thing in the morning, like you say, have a little sergeant major come out. Tell you a bunch of CNX Tuesdays, whatever. Maybe have an inspection, but it weren't. Once a week we'd have a little inspection. Normally your troop sergeant has a quick walk round and get your sideburns up, that sort of thing. But nothing major. And we go down to Tank Park, drive the tanks out, leave them running all day. take a couple of panels off, open a couple of hatches, you know, and then get inside the tank and go sleep and look busy.
Yeah.
But we had the troop cage, it was called. It was an office, but we called it a cage. I think when we come back to England, I think we had cages where when you're not on exercise in it, you take all the tools off and they'll go on shelves. So, you know, everything's got its own place. You can account for everything. But we'd have a kettle in there. And yeah, like I say, that was normally the troop leader, troop sergeant, troop corporal. So tank troop was three troops when I was in. I think it's changed now. But you'd have a troop corporal's tank, troop sergeant's tank, and a troop leader's tank. The troop leader was normally lieutenant, second lieutenant, maybe a captain at a push. But yeah, it was in the tank, in an armoured regiment, you're very rank heavy. Like I was talking to Sleechy the other day, and he was a platoon sergeant. He had 38 geezers, whereas the tank troop sergeants, there's 12 people in the troop, so it's a lot. You know, I say 12 people. You've got an officer, a sergeant, a corporal, maybe a couple of lance jacks. So you're very rank heavy.
Yeah. So. I was just thinking. So we had obviously a troop commander, a troop staff sergeant, which for me was Mick Knowles at the time, and then a troop sergeant. So they'd be up the squadron offices.
Yeah.
And then the stores would probably be like a 2-minute walk, and each troop had their own G10 store, and then so within you'd have like a couple of full screws, like then lance jacks, and then quite a few sappers. And I mean, like, yeah, if you went on sort of a exercise, like an infantry exercise, then it'd be like we'd have 3 sections within the troop. But for the main part, it was just, oh, this is the troop, and it'd be a case of just sitting there. If we hadn't been tasked with doing anything, it'd be like sort of almost waiting for the phone call from like, say, Mick Knowles to go, oh, right, I need one bod to do this or do whatever. I remember plenty of brews, plenty of watching Jeremy Kyle.
Yeah, nephew break, Jeremy Kyle. Yeah.
Right.
Nephew break about 10 o'clock, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
And then sometimes there'd be like say we were going on a engineer task or whatever, it'd be prepping kit. There'd be something going on, but nothing going on, if that makes sense. And,
I say, like the driver, I drive the tank out, then the gunner would start the gun kit up. It takes a couple of minutes, because it's all computer. It would take a couple of minutes. Then he'd put it gun front, because to store the tank, it's gun rear, because it's shorter. So get out, say gun front, open all the sights, so it looks like you're doing something. And then once a month you'd service the tank. I think it's either done a mileage or monthly, which was just put a bit of grease in certain places, just check the torque tightness of all the wheels, the tracks, you know, certain bits and pieces, and just make it look like you've done a good job.
I remember it was just chewing the fat with the lads, and then sort of waiting to be dicked for a job sort of thing.
We used to play hide and seek, like literally like children. Or, you know, we had like racks with nuts and bolts, and you'd know there'd be a troop at the other end of the hangar doing like a briefing or something, just chuck a load of bolts in, and then you get it all back. Or grease guns. We used to have like a big grease gun, had like a 5 litre tin of grease in. Sometimes you could shoot that like 20 metres of like this horrible, dirty grease. Gives you cancer. And you'd be stood there, like someone's there, you stood there, people having a chat and a fag, and all of a sudden you get slapped in the face with a load of dirty, horrible grease.
Yeah. Well, I remember I must have been quite new to the squadron. And so, as I said, the different troops, they had G10s next door to each other. And one of the lads, John Lord, come in. So John, fucking quality bloke, like fucking funny as fuck. PTI as well. So he comes in and he goes, "You all right, lads? Don't suppose anyone knows how to play the drums today?" And since a kid, I'd played the drums. I hadn't played them in a few years at this point. But so I'm like, "Yeah, I can." And everyone's like, "Fucking you, lad, wind your neck in. You can't play the drums." So I fucking can. Like, I'm not fucking Ringo Starr or nothing, but I can play. He's gone, "Right, come here." Gone into his troops G10. They got drum kits set up. They're like, "Go on then." I'm like, fucking hell, what the fuck is this place? And so I sat on the drums and banged out a tune and that. Next thing I knew, I was in the John Lordy's band. Like, we had a little band and that. It was great fun. But like, just, you know what I mean? Army camp. Who plays a drum? Oh, there's a drum kit here, just all set up. Like,
I remember going in the REME section, because we had a hangar was a long hangar, so the tanks were in troops It's 14 tanks, a few CVRTs, and I think we got Panthers in the end for the Sergeant Major. But in the REME section, they're a bit right at the end. And I remember I needed, I don't know, someone had sheared a bolt off or something, so I needed a drill or whatever. So I go and see them, and I've got a broken bolt. We're busy. And I'd look at them, and they're playing dominoes out of dominoes that they've made out of a pallet. And the domino pieces are the size of a mobile phone, and they're playing domino, and now we're busy. I was like, oh, we need to get done. Yeah, but you have to book the job in. We'll get it done another day.
Yeah. Oh, you just remind. I said last time, didn't I? I needed to look up this game Euchre, and I haven't done it, which I'm gutted about. Because I remember a lot of that go, and it was like a rite of passage in the engineers. Like, as I said, there was skill and technique to it, and you had to, like, well, I guess any card game, but you had to learn it.
Yeah,
and you could pass fucking hours playing it. Brilliant. So if there's any Royal Engineers listening, and I know there is, remind me how you play Euchre, and maybe we can set up an online game. Maybe not, but but I do remember, because after I'd been a sapper for a while, and I think by the time I was lance jacking, it's like, you know, people and that, and it's like,
how do you spell that, by the way? What's it called? Euchre.
Euchre. I think it's like,
is it a ball game or a card game?
No, it's a card game. I think it's EUKAR, maybe, like something like that.
Yeah, because we've got another game set and it sounds similar, but it's different. It's a ball game, but yeah.
and obviously, just looking at the weekly picture, I remember. So we didn't have to on a Monday. We didn't have to parade until about 12:30 after lunch. Tuesday, first thing was PT. So then you'd have PT at the gym or whatever, and then parade after lunch up at the offices. Wednesday was parade at 8:00. Knock off for lunch, and then do sports afternoon. Thursday was like Tuesday, PT to begin with, then parade up at the offices after lunch. And then Friday was usually like about what we call green PT, like, so a tab or like sort of like a BPFA in boots and greens and that. And then like you'd knock off after lunch and go home. When you look at it like that, there weren't a lot. It's great fun. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Take me back. Fucking take me back.
and it's the fact you work like 5 minutes from home as well. You know, like when I was in Germany, our block was next to the squadron offices, so it was literally a 15-second walk to where you started work in the morning. So people used to get up. We start work at 8. People get up at 7:45.
Yeah.
A quick shave, brush your teeth, and it'll work.
And I think in terms of once we were at 10 Squadron, like maybe you'd get a room inspection before you're going on leave, but again, just to like make sure that you hadn't just hadn't set fire to the place or whatever. But I guess I got a memory of the biggest fear. So like there'd be elements of getting dicked for stuff at the weekend, because obviously the old saying is you pay 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it was like that fucking shit job coming up.
Well, anyway, I'll start off with what people have sent in. So, Creasy, who is a tanky. So, the Royal Tank Regiment does the CBRN for the British Forces, or NBC. Was it CBRN when we was in?
Yeah.
I think when I started, it was NBC, but it changed. I think the Ref Reg took it over for a little bit, but then it went back to the Tank Regiment. It was the job of the first Royal Tank Regiment.
Couldn't be trusted, could they?
No, it was the job of the first Royal Tank Regiment, but obviously just the Royal Tank Regiment. But Falcon Squadron do it now. So I said to him, what's a day in a life like for them? He's not, I don't think he's in there in Falcon Squadron now. He's moved on. But he said CBRN is something that no one wants to do. It's the job of Falcon Squadron of the Royal Tank Regiment. Once people get into it, they tend to enjoy it. And I've heard that from a lot of people. It's one of the things, all you think of is people wearing respirators all the time, but it's not the case. So you get to do interesting stuff. You get to work with lots of different agencies from the UK and abroad, from the police to DSTL. DSTL is Defence Science and Technology Lab, which, people think they wear respirators all the time, but it's not the case. However, they do a lot of stuff suited up, and it gets extremely uncomfortable and difficult to work with that stuff. They use a vehicle called a Fuchs. Do you ever see one of them? I think it's a 6-wheeled vehicle. It's like They're quite old now, actually, I think, but they've got all the equipment. It's got I think it's like a little lab on board, but they can take samples and all that sort of stuff. So it's definitely something that it sounds horrific, but it's definitely probably a highlight of a lot of people's, because it's just so different. And I'm pretty sure you work very closely with these agents that are deadly. But you're a 19-year-old lad playing with ricing and stuff like that. And that's
hopefully they're not playing with it.
Playing football with it. Like, playing off-ground Willy bum tag. Oh shit! I just dropped it.
I know. I've just loaded this bloody gun with fucking grease gun with fucking rice in. Catch it, lads.
But that Salisbury poisoning a few years ago.
Yeah,
I believe it was the Falcon Squadron took over and done what they do there, cleaned it all up, or whatever it is. So it's not just war zones and stuff. They do it in back at home as well when there's anything. Yeah. I imagine there's stuff that probably don't get spoke about. But so that's that. Paul Brooke Glazy, the Green Jacket. I asked him what life as a Green Jacket's like. So as always, he sent me a voice note. So
it depends on where we're based, mate. But when we was in Germany, it was stay drunk until about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then just sober up just long enough to get changed and then go back downtown on the piss again. But mostly we just get up in the morning, bit of scran, PT, naffy break, do some work down the sheds if we've got vehicles. If not, maybe pop down the ranges or something. Then in the afternoon, see the day out and go on the piss.
So
I told you, fucking Green Jackets, light infantry, fucking howling blokes, aren't they?
So that's the life of a Green Jacket. So Diggy Dog. He was a RAF helicopter fitter. I think they called him riggers. On camp was just a normal job. Brekkie over to the technical side of camp, avoiding the station warrant officer. So he didn't pick me up for the length of my sideburns. Couple of smokes and a bubbly brew. I asked him what a bubbly brew was. He said it's when you pour the kettle really high.
Fuck it.
All right, yeah. So cut the bubbly brews. Get given some aircraft work, either repairs or exam tasks. Game of Uckers, which I thought was what you was on about. But I googled it. Uckers. It's actually a Royal Navy game. It's a ball game.
Okay.
But it said like a lot of the forces play it. But play a game of Uckers or table football in the T-bar. Watch Top Gun for the millionth time. Scoff, then naffy break. Sports. Scoff, then naffy or sports and social, depending what day it was. If I was on a flight line, do a couple of see-offs, which I think is when you're on standby for the helicopters are flying around or whatever. Get asked if I fancied a salty. Then, if he wanted to, climb in the back of an helicopter and fall asleep before we took off. And then he said the usual lad pranks: stick araldite, which is glue, in someone's locker padlock. We used to, if you found araldite, I really leave it around, we'd glue someone's mug to the tank or whatever. You always see a mug stuck to the side of a tank. So glue their padlocks, so they had to cut it off, that kind of shit. So that was a Diggy Dog. Bottle.
Bottle?
He was a soldier. He joined the TA after he left. I think he said he got a 10 grand like a signing on fee.
Yeah.
So, but he was in the Remy. And so normal parade night, he goes, I do a bit of PT before. Normally ex-regs and guys who do ultras and stuff did it. Then he prayed at 7:30. Then you'd either do military skills or trade until 9:30, then go to the bar. On a weekend, you would form up on a Friday night. You would take the kit you need. If it's a trade or Mets weekend, get to camp, and that's it. Saturday, you'd normally be up at Saturday, you'd normally be up at R5, get breakfast. Days are pretty hectic. You have to fit loads in. So there's military skills. You go from class to class, sort of like phase 1 training. You would normally do... You'd normally do night nav or something till fairly late on a Saturday. If it's a trade weekend, it's really relaxed, like a normal day at a tank park. Apparently, years ago, they would all go on the piss, but that's stopped now. Sunday was more of the same, depending on what the weekend you did. Normally leave camp about 3 o'clock, get back to the TA centre, clean weapons and go home. So, that's TA life. Sleechy. I've actually... Not a voice note from Sleechy. He's been busy. He's been on holiday.
Has he?
So the average day is a Fusilier. When not on ops, they usually do courses, all the usual infantry stuff. Average day in a light role is PT, weapons training, naffy break, lectures from the platoon NCOs. Usually some shit jobs from the colour man, brackets CQMS, shit like that. An armoured role, you spend all day down the vehicle park messing around with Warrior and trying to skive. That's pretty much done as a tank unit, really. To be honest, days in camp were far and few between. We were either on operational tours or doing training for the next operational tour. That's the way it fell for me. I imagine it's very different now. So, yeah. My nephew, Tommy Black, who signals, he said PT in the morning, vehicle checks, maintenance, radio checks, equipment checks. In reality, we do PT, go to the garage and sit on the sofas, play darts and one bounce. And I said, what's one bounce? He said, like kick-ups, like, you can't let the ball bounce more than once. So, yeah. Davey P, he was in a REME before he transferred to the tanks. He said when he was in a REME, his day consisted of cards, darts, naffy breaks, piss-ups and hangovers.
There's a running theme here, isn't there?
Yeah. We've got the Phantom Bearskins recording. But that's funny. And then Russ from the Military Veterans Football Club.
Nice.
I was able to chat with him. So Royal Navy, life at sea. He said his average day would be a watchkeeper in the ops room, reporting the local shipping in the area to the bridge. The bridge that we held on radar and assisted with ships' collision avoidance. Then we would be working as part of the ship, possibly painting and chipping on the upper deck, weather dependent. I don't know what that means. Take it, chipping away the old paint and painting the new stuff. Then fighting the usual war on dust, scrubbing out and literally keeping everything shipshape. We would go from a steady pace into emergency or action stations, pretty sharpish as required. These would either be practice drills for continuous training purposes or real-world incidents or safeguard incidents, which is the Royal Navy term for real. Yeah. Anyway, emergency stations could be a fire, flooding compartments, which some of us doubled up as a fire and emergency party, as no one's coming to save you in the middle of the Oggin, brackets, ocean. So you do that as part of the ship's company. Man overboard is well drilled also, and we'd assist a few ships in distress. Then action stations is where everyone on the ship would have a place to be, and this would be the ship to the highest state of alert possible. This enables the captain to take the fight to other ships, aircrafts and submarines, and more up-to-date drones. Action stations would allow everything from manning every screen in the ops room, surface, subsurface, to the missiles, guns and sonars, and the firefighting posts, medics in the sick bay, and chefs in the galley constantly to keep everyone fed and watered. We could be at action for long periods of time. So another tool the Royal Navy use is called defence watches. This is where the ship is split into two crews, if you like, and everyone has an opposite number, and then you do 6 on, 6 off. And he said that's lasted up to 3 weeks with him. Yeah, so other random duties, ship's boarding team, anti-drug smuggling in the Caribbean, anti-piracy in Somalia, around that area, disaster relief, gun line, government-requested evacuations, and to be honest, the list goes on. And other days, we would drink tins and get naked together. So,
happy days.
Fair enough. And finally, Chizard.
Fucking hell. Is he alive?
Yeah, I said to him, what do the ref reg do when they're not on tour? And he said, at the hangar, PT, sports afternoons, cleaning of some sort, vehicle or weapons cleaning, weapons carders, drinking brews, watching Jezza, screaming for the lie detector, some of it off the top of my head. So, yeah, it's all similar. Apart from the Navy, everyone else is pretty similar. Like boredom, cleaning, looking busy.
Jeremy Kyle,
I remember when that came out, it was brilliant. Right, it was like 10 o'clock, right in the peak of Neffy break.
Yeah,
it's funny.
So do you want to listen to the Phantom Bearskin?
Yeah.
We'll listen to that now.
So today we've got the Phantom Bearskin back on, and he's going to be telling us what it's like to be a guardsman
I can imagine there's a hell of a lot of bullshit in this one.
There is bullshit, but I mean, you pretty much get it kicked into you when you're at depot or the ATR or whatever. I know life's changed, but it used to be quite brutal. You know, the attention to detail is just standards, and it's things you take for granted, and you only really notice them when you go and do courses. So it is, you know, when you get inspected twice a day. Well, depending who the whoever sergeant's on duty or whatever. And yeah, you know, you will get flipping twisted bootlace, depending on who it is. I mean, the harshest one was Daz Chant, you know, that RSM that got shot dead.
Yeah, I heard about
Regimental Sergeant Major is another one in the Guard. You're not allowed to abbreviate. So you have to say Regimental Sergeant Major, or they're called the Sergeant Major. And Company Sergeant Major called the Company Sergeant Major. It can be a bit of a pain in the arse and try and get something out quickly. Yeah, he bagged the entire company. I got done first, sleeping corner of eye. Yeah, we were all on the square at 4 o'clock, which is just a pain in the arse. Because if you get bagged again, you're at the guard room at 10 o'clock. You get bagged, you know, it can be perpetual. But yeah, you're same as every other unit. You get up, you don't wear headdress to scoff. You get inspected, and then you'll do pretty much anything that any other infantry battalion does. Either fizz, working a bit of weapons, cleaning weapons is always a good one. And pretty much in the routine. If you're on, if you're bouncing Queen's Guards, say your role, the battalion's role is to provide King's Guards, Royal Guards. You do a bit of drill, maybe some kit inspections. And even amongst that, you know, you'll be doing drill all morning, and then they'll do weapons in the afternoon or something. And sort of clean your kit for the next day. If you're junior, if you're really, really junior, they'll probably inspect your kit or your boots or something like that before you mount guard. So it can be quite bullshitty. There's a lot of standing to attention to speak to a Lance Corporal.
Oh, really?
That would be quite something for most units, you know, full of grown-ups and people that don't need it to get their head around. But it's not until you go on courses and you're sort of bearing and turnout and the way you conduct yourself, it does stand out. I know the sort of lines were getting a bit blurred by the time I left. A lot of that is sort of bullshit and everyone cutting around on edge because you spend pretty much your entire day in the Guards trying to stay out of the shit. I'm sure a lot of people will back me up on that. You know, you poke your head out of the block before you go anywhere because someone will bag you and come here, what are you on? And then just bag you for something. I can be a pocket, it could be anything. So yeah, you stay out of the shit. Another one that's common to the Grenadiers and that catches a lot of people out, particularly again, if you're attached to another unit or you're on a course, you state your name on roll call upon inspection. And you're supposed to do it with a bit of vigour, a bit of panache. So you don't just go, Guardsman Forces, sir. You go, Guardsman Forces, sir. The other one on that, but if you're on a Queen's Guard, you have to say what detachment you're on. Again, you get your words mixed up. If depending on who's inspecting, you want to be a dick about it. She'll say Guardsman Forces, the Buckingham Palace Detachment of the Queen's Guard, sir. Or Guardsman Forces, St James Palace Detachment, Queen's Guard. Or if you're on Tower of London, Her Majesty's Main Guard, the Tower of London. So that's peculiar to us. So yeah, when I did my my RS course from signals, class 1 signals thing. Course at Warminster, and I was the only grenadier there. And yeah, fucking everyone shit themselves because I fucking went for it. I thought it'd be quite funny. So they're just inspecting us on a Monday morning, just generally inspected us on the Monday, make sure no one's got black eyes hanging out and that sort of stuff. And yeah, I bellowed it out. The fuck was that?
Brilliant.
Tradition, yeah, customs and tradition. So yeah, so that's another one with the Guards. But yeah, pretty much the same thing, but just with an added bullshit. But it's weird. You get sort of institutionalised a bit, and it's sad, and a lot of lads won't thank me for this, but if you're on Queen's Guards and stuff like that, if someone's got a banging tune on, a bit of Shaggy or something like that, or a bit of dance music, it's not unusual, and I shit you not, to see bods with broom handles in the corridor doing drill, marching along to it, or practising their halt, trying to get the halt as alley as fuck in front of the mirror, because they have these big sort of head-to-toe mirrors, as you probably get in most units. Yeah, you'll just find bods, flip-flops. You hear like boom, boom, and then we hear is flip, 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 flip. What are you doing? Some bod marching up and down or trying to get because, you halt and you're trying to slide your left foot. You want your left foot to slide a bit. It's called bolo, because in the Guards, again, alley or Gucci that you get in other units or other regiments, Yeah, we have Bolo, Bolo. Bolo, well, Bolo. Yeah, a bit weird.
Is that a Grenadier Guards thing?
I don't know. You get Balo, Bo, and you get Ali Bolo. Oh, Bolo. Yeah, something.
I've never heard that. I've heard shiny.
It's generally peculiar to the Guards because it's Bolo if you do something, if you've got, like you've regroomed your plume or your bearskin or something and you've got a really nice fringe. It's supposed to look like an apple from the front and an upside down pear from the back, although standards of grooming and the bearskins, they don't want to be an old sweat. I haven't got flipping grey flax and a blazer and all that shit. But yeah, the bearskins, I don't know if it's because the bearskins are a bit shitter than they used to be. But that seems to have gone down. But
yeah, I did notice on the parade the other day that they looked a bit crap. One of them had his eye covered like Gabrielle.
I don't know whether that's the bearskins, just the way they're taught to groom them, because you wash them and shampoo them and, shower them like it's normal hair, 'cause it is essentially capable of getting dirty and crap in it and stuff and frizzling up. But yeah, if something's really, really, really cool, say, going again, cabbagery coming out, the buff belt, the white buff belt is actually really thick buff leather hide, and you whiten it with trainer whitener and stuff. And if you're a proper cabbage, if you want to get a credit, if they pick you up for something really particularly good, and then they'll give you a credit, and that's a sort of a nice tick against your name. You get 3 credits and you get the next guard off. So it pays to be a winner type thing. But some bods would pinhole the stitch in because you can get it caked, but a good buff's supposed to be a rough buff. But get a pin and go every bit of stitching, and you can see that definition. Someone sees that, well, that's a bit bolo, mate. Well, yeah, but let's look at the fringe on a bearskin. Oh, fucking bolo. So yeah, it's not the sort of thing where you'd see a Ferrari going down like a fucking bolo car. It's all good. It's a particular cabbagery thing with the Guards. If that's a particular bolo halt, it's a bit tragic, really.
So when would you do the treatment of the colour?
You'll generally do it on a posting. So depending on where you're posted, if you're posted in London, naturally you're going to do 2 years of ceremonial, but that is interspersed with green kit. So you stay sort of current with your infantry skills. So like I say, you could end up dismounting a Queen's Guard, and depending on how harsh they are, in the afternoon, go and get the Jimpies out or something like that. So you'll do, generally, is that you'll move as a battalion, so it's not like units or single postings, and you'll do 2 years. So Windsor, that's public duties, Welly Barracks in London, and we did them in Purbright. There's barracks in Purbright. We were mounting guards from there, although we were infantry role, we were green kit, so we were in 12 mech.
Any vehicles?
The Saxons, and Recce platoon were in the Sabres. So you'll rotate every 2 years. So if you go on a posting up, so I think the Scots Guards are in Catterick, I think they're in Warriors, so they won't do any of that stuff, and they'll put all that stuff away. Maybe they'll get it out for special occasions or commemorations or presentation of colours, something like that sort of thing. So yeah, you'll rotate every couple of years between one of the normal Guards things or perhaps overseas a residential tour. In the old days, you used to get 2 years in Ireland. You maybe get a Guards battalion out there for 2 years. It's good. You do put the kit away sometimes, and I know guys that served in the Guards that didn't do any trooping the colours, any of that stuff. Maybe put the kit on, a handful of times, and you get the photos taken for the grands and that sort of stuff.
Oh, lovely. Really appreciate that, mate. It's a good insight into what the Guards do, because I always thought they just stood outside Buckingham Palace. So thanks a lot. See you next time.
That was good.
Yeah. He's a funny bloke. He's just another.
Did I tell you about how much of a small world it is? So a guy that used to run a pub up where my mum and dad live in Staffordshire, where when I was convalescing after being injured, me and him sort of become drinking buddies. Turns out he now runs the pub opposite where the Phantom Bearskin lives.
It's in the West Country as well, isn't it?
Well, it's not quite. So it's near Bryce Norton.
Oh, right.
Cricklade. And also, I don't know, the Charlie Brooks, who was that TV show I was on ages ago. Charlie Brooks was on it. So that's where Charlie Brooks lives as well. It's like, what the fuck? Mad.
The amount of people who've got in touch, even the Phantom Bearskin, we've got a connection with our breakfast club, like they know each other. But it's quite a lot of people have got in touch, and there's been connections, and it's a small world.
It is mad. I was just like that. What the fuck is this all about?
Yeah.
Strange. Yeah.
It definitely
There
is.
you go. So before we go on to muckers, remember, just a reminder of the competition. So what did we say? So any self-made furniture, the more ridiculous, the more funny, the more outlandish, the better. And the way you can win is by finding this episode on YouTube, and it has to be the video version because you can see Steve waving now. There you go. And yeah, tell us about, write in the comments your strangest, weirdest, as I said, most outlandish bit of self-made furniture, and you could win. What could they win, Steve?
Just a load of crap, really. Bottle openers, pens.
Well, we're going to get some Muster Point podcast mugs made.
Yeah,
don't
some
we?
mugs. We've got all sorts of crap. Car air fresheners.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Decent.
I reckon we should get George to be the judge as well.
George can be the judge.
Very
One of
straight, going bloke.
Yeah. No shit from him. Yeah. Very boring bastard, isn't he?
Oh, he is, yeah. And he's bald. I hate bald people.
Yeah. Fucking tossers. But yeah, so I believe you've got a Muckers Remembered this week. So if we're going to your Muckers Remembered, Steve.
First friend I'd like to remember is Lance Corporal Timothy Darren Flowers. We knew him as Daz. He was from Northern Ireland and he was a massive Millwall fan. And he joined the REME as a vehicle mechanic. During that time, he was attached to Badger Squadron, the 2nd Royal Tank Regiment. He was a proper grease monkey. He was a proper mechanic. He was always covered in grease and oil, but he was a very professional craftsman. And he died in Basra Palace on the 21st of July 2007 on Optelic 10. And he died from shrapnel injuries during an indirect fire attack. He was 25 years old. He died doing what he loved. He was in his overalls, covered in grease and oil, and he was working on a Warrior. And yeah, he was just a good lad, really nice bloke. So my other mate I'd like to remember is Trooper Joshua Hammond, or Hammy, as we all knew him. And he arrived at the 2nd Royal Tank Regiment in 2008, and he was put in Badger Squadron. We were on the same tank. He was my driver. I was his loader, and we did tank exercises in the UK and Canada. And while he was in Canada, he very courageously volunteered to move to Egypt Squadron in the 2nd Royal Tank Regiment because they was deploying to Afghanistan, and he wanted to get a tour under his belt. Later on, I soon followed him, and we ended up in the same troop again. On the 1st of July 2009, Hammy was killed by an IED. It rocked the squadron. We'd had a few casualties before then, but it was the first death of the squadron, and they're all unexpected, but it really was unexpected. And I really do think of them two every day, and I'll see them both in the green fields beyond.
Thanks for that, Steve. I like it when they're close to us. Obviously has more meaning, and then it makes me think that how many lads have died. Yeah. It's quite.
Well, it's I love like with Daz. Obviously, he was in a REME, so we was close, but not best mate. We never had a tank together or nothing. But I remember talking to him, like, because he's from Northern Ireland. There weren't many. Well, there was a lot of people from Northern Ireland in the army, but not in my regiment. And I said to him, like, why did you join the army, sort of thing? He went, there's nothing else to do. And I said, what was your opinion of the British army when you was a kid? He went, well, I didn't really have an opinion, but it was fun to throw bricks at the soldiers because you get a chase. Yeah. And so he said a lot of the riots and stuff were just bored kids on school holidays. Didn't really know why they was rioting. They just tagged along because it was fun. So, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for that, Steve. And obviously to anyone listening that wants to send in their Muckers Remembered, we're more than happy to read them out and do our best to honour your mates, honour your muckers.
It's hard for a lot of people, I know that. So just send in the details. Yeah. Just send in a name and we'll do our best to find out a bit of information about it. It's hard. I've got people who are very confident, and I've asked them if they wanted to do one, and they can't.
Yeah.
So
there's no shame in that, though.
No, definitely, 100%. Yeah.
So, well, going on, I mentioned at the beginning of the show a bit of suicide awareness. So, it was Alex, is it Kearney? So he's the guy that was the sergeant that was based at Tidworth that went missing. There was a big manhunt, and sadly his body was found. I'm guessing it was suicide. It's gone off the news a bit.
I think they said it wasn't suspicious, didn't it? The circumstances. So.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because he's a British soldier. Maybe they're keeping it quiet. I don't know.
Yeah. But I thought it was quite a good idea because, as we said before, we like to keep some things serious. And I thought, so through my role at CGL, we got given some suicide awareness training, which I thought, so it gave me confidence to look out for the signs. So what we're going to talk about is about not if you're feeling suicidal, but like if your mate comes to you or anyone comes to you. Because I think we put ourselves under a lot of pressure I could have done more. What could I have done? And I think the biggest thing, and it may sound, people may be aware of this, but ultimately, if sadly somebody's in that place where they want to take their own lives, there's not a lot you can do about it apart from being in their house and fucking babysitting them for 24 hours a day. So I think we need to understand that sometimes there's nothing we can do, and we can do all the right things and it can still end up in a bad result. But some of the things I learned and some of the things to look out for, and it's, if somebody comes to you, it's about listening and listening without judgment. So whatever they're talking about, just let them talk and try not to make any judgmental comments, because this could save their lives. And if you know, it's like if somebody gives you like oh mate, what you on about, that may cause them to shut up and clam up, and we don't want that. And try not to overly give advice. Remember, you're there just to sit with them in that place and just listen, and don't be like, oh, do this, do that. Because again, sometimes people don't want to be, oh, yeah, it's easy, just do this. Oh, if it was fucking easy, I'd be doing it. But the things I learned was, has this person tried to take their own life before? And if they have taken their life before, or tried to take their life before, how far along the road did they get it? Did they just talk about it? Did they get up on a bridge and then get down again? Did they get up on that bridge and then have to be coerced down by the police, say? Because depending on the level of what they've done before, gives you a bit of an indication of how committed they are. And again, I caveat this because that you may not have that information. Ultimately, if they want to do it, there's not a lot we can ultimately do. But having this awareness of their path before, like listening to them, really listening to them, what's going on for them. And if they're saying, like, they may have suicide ideation. They may talk about it. Oh, I wish I was better off dead. And there's a big difference between actually making plans. Are they making plans? Have they stockpiled paracetamol? Have they planned to go down to a bridge or whatever? Do they have a location? Are they talking, like, for example, if somebody's talking about going on holiday with their family next week, potentially they're less committed to taking their own lives. Again, I'm not saying that this is a guaranteed way, but I think just to paraphrase what I've just said, obviously talk, listen with an open mind, non-judgmental, establish, have they got a history of talking about suicide and having tried it, and to what extent they've been stopped in the past, and what are their plans? Are they just talking, oh, I wish I was better off dead, or have they made legitimate plans? And those are vital things to get out to establish how serious this person is. And I know we've said it before on the podcast about making yourself aware of what's around you, because we're not professionals in this. There's professional organisations that can better support these people. Make yourself aware of what's around you, whether it's veteran support, charities, organisations, independent, whatever it is. Fucking do some time to research what's around you, because if and when you come across this situation where a friend or someone you're supporting comes to you and they're talking very negatively, you can ask these questions, you can listen, and you can try signposting, or even have the confidence to say, well, I've spoken to these guys, they're fucking sound. Come on, mate, I'll make the phone call with you. And I hope I've made sense there, Steve.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, no one, or not saying no one, but the average person isn't equipped to talk to someone who's in that mindset. And at the same time, a lot of people say, I've had enough of life, I'm going to kill myself, storm out the door. I don't mean it. It's just not attention seeking, but it's...
I cry for help, which is bad, bad, and I'm not saying that, but yeah.
It's I just feel like, I don't know, I think the first time I went to Iraq, we got told what to look for in everything, and it was presence of the abnormal and absence of the normal. And I've sort of stuck by that with everything. Whether I'm fixing a machine, that's what I'm looking for. If there's a problem, I'm looking for the absence of normal, presence of the abnormal. Even people, your friends, if someone just ain't right, and a couple of times someone's texted me, if you spoke to John, no, why? He just ain't right. And then I text him, and he's all right with me. And I was like, well, he seems all right when I talk to him. He might just have the ump with you, But it's not talking behind people's backs, but checking on your mates, and just like there's certain mates that they're not going to go gossiping if you say I'm worried about him. But ultimately, like you say, if someone has got that mindset and they're going to do it, it's very difficult to stop them. It's just, I suppose, handing them a Samaritan's leaflet probably ain't the best thing to do, but maybe throw it into a conversation. I'm not trained to talk about this, but just say, just sort of, I don't know, like you say, equip yourself. A lot of stuff we talk about on here, you might not need help from a lot of the charities we've got. Hopefully you never need help from Military versus Cancer, but knowing about it, so it's in the back of your mind. Someone texted me the other week saying, what was that charity you mentioned? Because a friend of mine's wife isn't well. And it's just equipping ourselves with the tools to be able to look after each other a bit more, and not just each other's family. And it's
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's all well and good saying, it's good to talk and it's good to check in on your mates, but actually fucking do it. So if you notice someone's gone off the radar a bit, or they're drinking too much, or whatever, as you said, that presence of the abnormal, well, let's check in on him, and then say, like, what's going on, mate? Like, and if they turn around and share, I've been thinking about doing this to myself, then ask those questions, like, have you had these thoughts before? How far have you got with it? What's your plans? Like, does it sound like there's actual plans? And then just, I think it's vitally important just to make yourself aware, because as you say, Steve, that it's not, hopefully you listening to this right now don't ever need these charities or organisations, but your mucker next to you might.
Yeah, but I had a mate who texted me I was on nights all weekend, about 3 o'clock in the morning, I got a text off one of my mates telling me, I'm not going to say his name, but he was telling me how proud he is of me and you, Stu.
Yeah.
For what we're doing. He goes, I can't believe that fuckwit like me has been able to do something like this. And I said, like, what are you doing up at this time? He went, speak honestly. He goes, every year I have a bit of a wobble, and I'll just fucking get fucking paralytic off my tits on my own at home. Get it out of my system. And I said, look, mate, I said, if you need help, I can point you in the right direction. I said, there's people I spoke to help me. And he said, I don't think I need that. He goes, I do this once a year. And I said, look, as long as you're all right, I said, I'm here. I think talking is the bit. And I was the worst one for telling people to man up. And I'm ashamed that I was that way inclined, if you like. But that was how I was.
If you don't know any better, then you don't. You don't know.
I've had people come up to me before. One of my mates, and one of my good mates, he told me his uncle molested him when he was a child. I fucking laughed at his face. I was just like, I don't know what to do with that, mate. I'm sorry. And I took the piss out of him for ages. But he laughed about it as well. I hope he see the funny side. But I was not. I was a fucking machine. I had no emotion.
Yeah.
And it's hard when people open up to you. But now I'm a bit more well equipped to do, because I've admitted to myself that I needed help. I had no emotion. I never cried or anything. And all of a sudden, the floodgates open. I cried the other day at something on the telly, something silly on the telly. I cried at a parrot show on holiday a couple of years ago. Like, there was a parrot, and it was like it was kept in a cage. It couldn't fly, and this parrot place, taught them how to fly, and I started crying. I was so happy for this parrot. Whereas before, I would have quite happily watched it die, you know. It's amazing, but yeah, talking does help. It might
it does.
might make
But
not in the short term, but long term, it definitely does.
talking helps, and being that person that can listen, and furnishing yourself with what's in your local area, and if you do ask these questions and listen to your mate next to you, and you think, fuck me, he's got a plan, he's come close before, like, you need to be ringing 999 or something in your local area. And there will be mental health crisis services in your local area, and don't be fucking afraid to do it. Like, I know I've run 999 in my life, and it's a bit like, oh, like, do you think it's worthwhile? Do you think it's warranted? And in this situation, I guarantee the emergency services would be, rather it be meaningful but not needed, rather than, put someone off calling them and then the worst happens.
Yeah, like like Samaritans, for instance. If you've got a friend, call them, ask them for advice. I'm sure they can give you advice. Ring one of the big military charities, ask their advice.
Well, I'd say there are a lot of helpline numbers out there, and I think the only one I'm comfortable giving out is the Samaritans, because I feel comfortable doing it, and they can be called on 116 123 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if any of that has affected you, give them a shout. And I'd certainly be happy to ring them if I was worried about a friend to seek further advice.
I don't really know why there are that many helplines when you've got such a great organisation already. I think everything should be focused in. If you want to set up a helpline, why not just speak to the Samaritan, do a bit of training, and become a Samaritan's
exactly.
listener, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
It just confuses things otherwise. Even the Samaritans, we mentioned it before about they had a veterans, Samaritans veterans, and it wasn't ideal. I don't know why they bothered doing that. Obviously they're trying, but just leave it with what you got. Back to basics, it works.
Yeah, exactly. So that's Samaritans 116 123. If you need support. But that's that. Just look after each other, I guess. That's all we can do. So, wrapping up.
I've got to lighten it up, though.
Go on.
Have you ever worked with a Welsh regiment? They're all called Williams or Jones. So I was watching something the other day, and it's the Welsh Guards. And when they talk about each other, they don't refer to each other by their name. It's the last two digits of number. So they go, 6'2" or 4'8". And it just makes me laugh. Like I say, they're all called Jones. It's a bit like, a lot of Indian people are called Patel, or the Gurkhas, a lot of them are called Garung. And the Welsh are all Williams and Jones. And
I like that.
Yeah.
Wait, 5'2".
Yeah, and it's funny because a lot of them are, Taff.
But, that's good. I like that.
I thought I'd throw that in there.
You've got to lighten it up.
Yeah.
A bit of promotion. So I mentioned it the other week, but so the 15th of November, Saturday this year, the Muster Point Celebration and Remembrance in Stevenage. We've got a 3-course meal. We've got comedians from the Veterans Comedy Club coming down. We've got some tributes to veterans. We've got a live band. We've got a DJ. Get on our website, www.themusterpoint.org.uk. Get yourself some tickets. Currently, early bird tickets are £65 a ticket, or if you're a bit flush, you could get a table of 10 for 600. But I think it's shaping up to be a really good night.
It's about 5-minute walk from the train station, isn't it? 5-10 minute walk, not 5, straight through the town centre. I think rooms are quite cheap at the hotel.
Yeah, so if you book, then a discount code will be made available to you for discounted rooms. But and then all the money is any money raised. I think we're hoping to have a raffle, maybe an auction, not too sure yet. But what money is raised will come back into doing what we do at the Muster Point. But it's not just about, I don't want it just to be about, it's not just a fundraiser. I want it to be a celebration and remembrance. It's the weekend after Remembrance Sunday.
It'd be brilliant if some of the listeners that have never met us before could come along.
And just turn up and not tell us and be like, fucking hell.
Yeah,
Because that's what I was going to say. So at that thing on Saturday, the Breakfast Club, there was a few people who were like, that's that bloke off the podcast. And it's like that. All right.
That's that gobshite.
Yeah. Fucking one-eyed wonder boy. Yeah. And the other thing I'd like to promote is the At Ease Festival. So the At Ease Festival is a weekend of music, camaraderie, food, camping. I need to get the location. I've forgotten it, but it's a brewery down near Worcester. Not that it matters because all the tickets are sold out this year, but I think it's on the 1st of August. We've done an interview with Rob, who's the founder of the At Ease Festival, and also Armed Forces T-shirt Day. But the interesting news is that weekend, the Muster Point podcast will be broadcasting live, so you can have a look, see what it's all about, listen to some of the attendees, some of the bands, and hopefully get yourself booked on for next year, because as anxious as I am about doing a live podcast, I think it's going to be good.
And we're hoping to have Sleechy and his missus.
Yeah, on the camera. We'll get him in front of it as well. It'd be rude not to, but yeah, it's going to be good. So that's
it's in Worcestershire. It's in an old microbrewery, I think it is, isn't it? It's called the Spilsbury and Jones Brewing Company.
There you go. And so we're going to be going live.
Stamford Bridge.
Stamford Bridge, what, Chelsea?
No, that's Stamford, isn't it? This is Stanford.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
So, that would be good. As I said, we've interviewed Rob, so that will be going out on the 1st of August. Quite interesting. But, yeah, we've covered a bit this week, haven't we, Steve?
Well, it's been a bit of a long one.
But, yeah.
And I say, if you're just listening, you're like, I'd like to share what I did when my daily routine is as a clerk,
Fucking hell, that'd be boring.
Yeah, it would be boring, wouldn't it? Yeah. Laying on your back with your legs open. But,
yeah. Steady. Shots fired.
Just always send it in. Send anything in.
And, as I said, comment.
Like and subscribe. Comment.
Subscribe. All that jazz. Leave your comment about the quiz, about self-made furniture. Yeah, that's it. What are we doing next time, Steve?
Your proudest or most shameful moment?
Lovely. That sounds good, doesn't it?
It is, yeah.
And so send what you've got for that in. And yeah, as I said, remember, like 116123 for the Samaritans, and
with the Beyond the Wires, we're gonna have not a break, but we've been banging them out. If anyone wants to get in touch, please do. But we're not going to be chasing Beyond the Wires, so it will go back to the fortnightly main podcast, and then the occasional.
Still weekly.
I thought no, the podcast fortnightly.
Okay.
For the time being, it's holiday season.
All right. So when's this one going out? I've got it down to go out this Friday.
Yeah, this Friday, and then the week after is T-shirt and At Ease Festival. Yeah, and then we're back. We have to bang another one. But then we've got holidays coming up.
Sound.
Yeah.
Right. That leads us to the end, doesn't it, Steve?
It does.
Unless you've got anything else to add.
No.
You got any holidays lined up?
Going to Benidorm.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, September. Do like a bit of Benidorm.
Where are you staying in Benidorm? There must be listeners out there. Fucking
if anyone likes Benidorm, the Sandos Suites in Benidorm is a nice hotel. It's just out of the way. But what I like is you just help yourself to all the beer. They've got fridges full of bottles of beer. You help yourself. That's the only reason.
All inclusive, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But you don't have to queue up at the bar. There is a bar, but you can just go and help yourself.
Oh right. Oh yeah. Sorry, help yourself. Yeah, fair one.
Yeah,
fair one.
So I'll take a cool bag down, so I don't have to get up. And a piss bottle, so I don't have to leave.
Yeah, fucking damn right. Right, do you want to wrap it up then?
Another episode completed. Now I need a shower before we go into action stations.
We now know what the infantry do when they're not charging at sandbags full of pig's guts. We've also heard some new games that have kept you all entertained over the years.
Next time, we'll be discussing the proudest and most shameful moments in your time in the forces. Was it your passing out parade, or was it when it was your turn in the barrel in the lower decks of HMS Gay Bruiser?
Get in touch, voice notes, DMs, or call Sleechy for a decorating quote and tell him to send us a voice note. Find us at Facebook at the Muster Point Veterans, X at the Muster Point, TikTok at the Muster Point, and YouTube, the Muster Point Veterans.
Until then, parade, fall out!